Well, let me tell you a little bit about this team. And JK, when we talk about little, I'm using your definition of little. I took over the Berkeley Springs cross-country team in 1986. I've been coaching some junior kids before that, one of whom was Rhonda Yost, who had put up with me forever, I might add. And we did pretty well the first 4 years I coached. First year we had 2 all-state runners. We had Becky Harden and we had Brian Hieronymus, and I said, well, this is pretty cool. But what we didn't have was great teams. We did all right in the regions. We got to go to state a number of years, but then we just ran into a whole different level of competition. And we finished 4th and 5th a lot of times, which is pretty good when you consider, but it's not really what we were looking for. I remember that we went to states in 1989, and we were really young. And Karen Clark and April Hickerson had joined us, and Rhonda. We had, I don't know if we had any of the other girls in 1989 or not, I don't remember. But we got clobbered. We did. We beat one team and we lost to 15. And part of that was my fault. And part of it was a couple of those girls' fault. Because, yeah, I'm going to take the main blame, but they're going to get a little credit too. Because we went to Charleston to compete. Charleston had a mall like nothing we had up here. And I decided, being very intelligent, I'd let the girls walk around for a couple hours. I said, okay. Well, they came back and they begged me. And they just, you know. I said, well, they've never seen anything like this. And that's when I made a mistake. I let them walk around for another hour. Yeah. Trust me, that never happened again. Their legs were dead the next day. I don't know if we'd have done a lot better, but I sure didn't help anybody. And I might add, the next time we went to Charleston, I probably was in track, I can't remember. I gave some of our track, I think it was track girls, 2 hours. No more. So I come back an hour and a half to where we're sitting, and Karen Clark was already sitting there. And I said, really? And she says, oh yeah, that's not going to happen again. And I said, right then, I've got a leader. And that's 2 years later, we finally have a lot of talent. And we have great senior leadership. We had 4 great seniors. And we went to Elkins. And I'll tell you something about Elkins. Elkins is an incredible course. I used to say it was the mecca of running in West Virginia. You run through the woods, you cross streams. The goal was to never be on pavement or gravel 1 second, and they did a great job of designing the course. And I will tell you, in some cases, when we went through streams crossings, if you know Becky Hart, she's taller than me, and she went through a stream one time, I'm not exaggerating, that was up to here. A couple years later, I had a girl about that height, and we thought we were going to give her water wings to get through, but we made out all right. We went to state, we did well to regions, we won every dual and triangular meet all year. And we went there, I think, maybe a little disrespected because the experts picked us 5th, and I thought we were a little better than that. And it was a sloppy, muddy day, as typical. But our girls just did such an incredible job. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details on it, but let me tell you something. We had our first state champion in cross country, which is Karen Clark. We had 5th place, which was Rhonda Yost. Wave or something there. And we had 9th, which was April Hickerson. And I'll tell you, that helps you a lot. We did well with our 4th and 5th place finishers. Carol Miller ran the best race she had run all year. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight. She's actually a president of a community college in Tennessee and has a PhD. So She's done very well for herself. Wish I could have seen her tonight. She finished the 4th runner, and our 5th runner, Anne Marie Quirk, finished 22nd, which is also very good. And I'm going to center on Anne Marie Quirk and just tell you a little bit of what cross country is like. We had a stream crossing at Elkins with about half a mile to go. They cross and they go out around a horseshoe shape and come back toward the finish line. And I'm watching everything I can because this is why I don't have any pictures, because no one would ever trust John Rowland with a camera when he's running around. But I'm watching, and I picked up a limp on her, and she lost a couple places. It happens. It's a sport. She came through. She was in a lot of pain. You know, we actually got her got her back to Berkeley, and her parents made the decision next day to take her to the ER to see what was going on with that leg. She had broken her leg when she crossed the stream.
Not my leg, my foot.
Yeah, okay. And, okay, correct me on that. But she still ran. I can't even imagine doing it. Because she didn't know it was broken, but the pain's the pain. And that's demonstrative of our girls and what they did for us. They did the final tallies. They didn't do it by computer in those days. And trust me, I checked the scoring about 6 times. We lost by 1 point. And the team behind us was only 1 point behind us. Closest final in state history. May still be a record. But you know, the thing that really impresses me is that closeness and the publicity, well earned, put us at a different level in this community, which really, they're a little iffy about cross country in those days, to be honest with you. And people took notice. I mean, 3 all-state runners, a state champion runner, and a team that was this close. And what that did was, we earned a different respect here. And our numbers increased, the respect for what we had. I know they talk about, years ago, the Detroit Pistons, when they were trying to get to that next level, they just couldn't beat the Boston Celtics for a long time. Finally they did, and they got to that level. And then Detroit was there for a while, and Chicago Bulls couldn't get to the next level, even with Michael Jordan for a long time, until they finally broke through. This is what this team did for us. This is what they did for Berkeley Springs running. Because since that time, Berkeley Springs has had, between track and cross country, 8 more state championship teams, a total of 9. We had 1 before that, but 8 others. They deserve a world of credit. They deserve it more than the coach because they gave everything. And what I'll tell you is, I've been doing this for a long time. It's no secret to that. And I've had a lot of teams I've loved. This one's at the top. So I'm going to thank them and a few others real quick, and then I'll get down from here. Erin Wall in the end. When Erin came out for cross country, her mom and I were at a teacher's meeting, and she said, I don't know if she's going to be able to do this. She came in the first night and made half a lap around the track, came back to me in tears, and I said, what's the matter, Erin? She's sobbing. She says, I could only do this. I said, we take you where we get you. She got better during her freshman year, ran JV the whole time. Next year, probably about 40% of the year, they have what was the biggest JV race in the state before the varsity race, and Erin just ran out of her head. I mean, she did such a good job. She won it. And in the process, she was better than 3 of my girls on the varsity. And I went to her after the meet and I said, you know, you are now a varsity athlete. And she never went back. And then I went to my number 8 girl, who's no longer running varsity, and I said, I'm going to make you good enough so you can go past somebody too. So I'm playing a little game there. But Aaron then continued junior year, senior year, did an outstanding job for us, and was on the state runner-up her senior year as well. At that point, I'm beginning to think like we're the Buffalo Bills, but we got better. And ran to college. And didn't run that day in Elkins, but she helped all of our teammates get better. Karen Clark is already in our Hall of Fame. I've already talked about her and Rhonda. Rhonda started running at Greenwood when we did the AU program, went all over the place to national championships, was an All-American, All-State in track and cross-country both, had an outstanding career. And if you shouldn't think she's not an endurance athlete, she put up with me longer than anybody else I've met. Jenny Hickerson. Jenny corrected me on something, but I'm going to tell my story my way anyway. Seniority's got the privilege on that. When Jenny came out, of course, she's one of the younger sisters to April, and Jenny and I just did not do well together. Apparently, she liked me more than I liked her, but we got through that first season, and I know my wife Amy was talking about kids that were going to go out for track in the spring. And I'm sorry, Jenny, but I did say this. I said, Jenny won't come out. She's done with me. She wasn't. She came out, and we did better. And every season for the next 3 years, we did better to a point where I was sorry to see her graduate. And what she taught me was something I needed to know. Don't get down on a kid early. Boost them up and keep working with them. And that's what she taught me. Anne Marie, one of the most courageous things I've ever seen in my life. You thought I didn't have anything on you, but you're wrong, Krista.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you're going to. I knew Krista Light was bright, and I know she was a tough kid. But my favorite story from her comes in track one day, early in the track practice. And I think she probably knows what it was. We had 2 younger girls on the team who just weren't working. And Judy Hart and I are coaching, and we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do about these to motivate them. So we're chatting there, and all of a sudden we hear somebody just getting in the face of those younger ones, and Krista was lighting them up better than I could ever do. Both girls walked off. They left. So Judy and I said, you know, if we're going to quit that easy, maybe she did us a favor. One stayed away. The other one came back the next day with her mom, who says she will not quit. And that was Susan Woolley. And Susan Woolley, as Aaron will tell you, had a real good career, and you guys had some great battles in practice, too. And of course, Krista, as an adult, has been a doctor for a long time, and has helped many. She says she's now delivering babies of some babies she had earlier. What a career she's had. And Crystal Yost Chapman, I have so many stories about. I don't even know where to start. She cracks me up, I'll tell you. She sends me a communication and says, Coach, you're not going to tell them about the times you pick up worms on the track and chase me around to make me faster. I said, I am now. But one of my best stories on her was we had a track meet at Hancock, and Hancock sort of gamed us. They knew we didn't have any field events, so they took every kid they could get in the field events, and they got first, second, and third. By the time we started running, we were 40 points behind. And that's a lot to make up. Meantime, I've got a 4x4, which is the last race where 4 girls run, a quarter mile each, and she's taking a test. She was one of them. But she got over there. We didn't have much time, as I recall. We got a quick warm-up. She came out, and all 4 girls came through. She on very little warm-up or anything like that, and we beat Hancock by 2. And it was so sweet. We had them, and we pulled it right back. And that was in the days when Hancock was a lot bigger. And April Hickerson, one of my dynamic 3 to begin with, you've heard some stories. There was a long-standing mile record for girls in the mile. Kelly Sabasic. Kelly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And we were trying to break it. And you know something? We had 2 girls in there the same night, Karen and April, and they were running like crazy. They both broke the school record that night, and April had a little bit more at the end and passed Karen and gained her first school record. Later on, she got a second school record in the 800, and our girls in the 4x8, each girl runs 2 laps, set a school record later on, and was part of that as well. I remember she also made me look real good at a regional one time because I knew our girls were good. I trained them really hard. We'll get through the regional, we'll go to states, we'll be a lot better. Wasn't happening. You had to be in the first 4 teams. We were running on tired legs. My fault again. April gets the baton, she's way back, I'm just praying. Please God, because I'll never, ever forgive myself. And she comes down that last straightaway and passes somebody and gets us a qualifier for the state meet. South Harrison was over there next to us, and they are just hooping it up. They beat Berkeley Springs. The next week, we killed everybody in the state except one team, and South Harrison went away just looking at what happened. The girls had fresh legs. They did a much better job. Some people who aren't here tonight, I think of Carol Shetler. That's wrong, Carol Kelly. I'm sorry, Carol Kelly, who was an outstanding senior for us. She's out in the Texas-Oklahoma way. She always said she was going to be an accountant. She was for a long time, and a few years ago she became a nurse, a registered nurse. And some of you have heard me say this before. So most of her life, she caused pain to people, and now she's relieving it. Laura Curtin was on her team as a freshman. She had promised and decided to do other things. She and her husband are professional photographers in Shepherdstown. And I have somebody missing out of that group yet, girls. Oh, well, I mentioned Carol Miller, who became Carol Rothstein, had her girl here for a year and moved. Carol had a tough childhood. Came up through the ranks, got her education, got a college degree, eventually got a master's, and then went to school and got a PhD, and as I said earlier, is in Tennessee as president of college now. Look at these girls. Every one of them highly successful in their lives, in their early 50s now. 33 years ago, girls. You've deserved this for a while. Some people say, why didn't my team get in with it? John Rowland's team didn't get in because John Rowland didn't vote for him. The others voted him in, and deservedly so. Thank you so much, girls.